All right. Hello, 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 everyone joining us. Really excited to have everybody on board. Give us a wave. So this is pretty cool. Being a little bit different, unlike a usual webinar, we actually have everybody on at the same time. So if you've been to any of our masterminds, it's going to be similar. The only difference is because we have so many people, please make sure that you're muted. Please keep everything muted. Just you should be muted when you log in, but just don't unmute that. But it is going to be interactive. So if you have questions, jump into the chat. I'll actually just mention something right here. So you should see the chat. Here's the chat tool. Ask away. So we're going to do our best to answer as many questions as we can as we're going through. But please use the chat tool. Maybe at the end, we can do some just straight Q&A with your audio. But other than that, we're just going to use the chat tool. So super excited everybody on board. We obviously got Janki. That's why you guys are all here. What's really cool, though, I think you're going to learn is Janki, she's obviously done really well on the Street Text platform. But when you really go through her story, she didn't start off that way. And I think a lot of you are going to find that it's actually much more relatable than you think. Plus, as another interesting bonus, Janki's built a team. And she built a team while using Street Text as well. So I know for many of you as agents, some of you already have teams. Some of you are looking to build teams. Some of you are going to have questions about how do I get there or what are some of the first steps I should do. So we're going to be covering all of that on this webinar as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So Janki, so glad to have you on board.
Hello, everybody.
Really, really excited. So Janki, why don't you start right at the beginning? Like, how did you even find out about Street Text? What brought you to Street Text? And maybe what did you even think about it, even as you joined?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for joining. It's it's our pleasure to have you here. Like Steve said, I joined Street Text way back in March. I remember Marcus and I just before even March, I had an opportunity to join, but I just felt that no, these are online leads, it's not going to work for me, and I didn't bother. And then obviously I connected with Marcus and I said, listen, I'm looking for leads that are ready, willing, and able now. And he's like, okay, well, we've got the program and it's how much you put into it. And of course, Marcus had to do a little bit of coaching with me. At that time, I was a solo agent, guys. I didn't have a team at that time. And then when I started connecting with Marcus in March, I started seeing that these leads are coming in, but I just called them and everyone was voicemail or wrong number, wrong email address. I started getting discouraged. To be honest with you, I was just calling Marcus saying, this is not working. Well, what is this? You're sending me leads. I'm spending money on it and I'm not getting any leads that are worth it. So I want to cancel. I want to cancel. Do you remember that, Marcus? I didn't want to do it. And here I am, 9-10 months later.
Well, Marcus, maybe you should jump in and let us know a little bit how you remember that conversation as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the beginning, you were just kind of filling us out. You just heard from us from Tristan and Lab Code Agents, and you came in like anybody else with the trial and, spent the $9 a day ad and figured it out. And I think slowly you kind of started realizing that you need to bring in your own systems, look at these leads a little bit differently than what you were used to with maybe, Google or Zillow or.
Exactly.
What's that?
I started seeing that, I wasn't getting, I just let it sit there. I didn't do anything about it, right, Marcus? I wasn't seeing Julie come. Julie was coming in and doing her thing, but I wasn't seeing any responses. And I'm like, okay, where do I go from here? What do I do? I don't have any idea of what to do, what to say. I started attending the masterminds and I remember very clearly, I'm like, this is bogus. Everybody's just bragging and this is bogus. I'm not kidding you. And I just left. I left 20 minutes into it and I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this. And I called Marcus again. So remember, I was a negative mindset. But at that time, when I saw my American Express bill with the dollar amount, I'm like, oh my God, I got to do something about this because money is going and I'm not seeing a return of investment. For me to do any kind of business, I need to see some sort of return of investment between 6 and 9 months at least, or 3 to 6 months. What is a return of investment? Sometimes it takes longer. So I said, okay, I'm going to start dialing and I'm going to just talk. And I said, but what's my script? What am I going to say to them? Are you looking to buy? Of course, they're going to turn off and say, no, who are you? I just was scrolling through. I had a lot of rejections, obviously. And then eventually I said, all right, I need to build a system. I need to pause. The leads were coming in. I wasn't doing anything about it. So guess what? they were going down wayside. And that's when I decided to have an ISA on my team, or, you know, have a virtual assistant, not even an ISA, because I didn't even know what an ISA meant. So I said, okay, let's talk about virtual assistant. I talked to my coach about it and I said, okay, I really need help with converting these leads. I don't know what I'm doing. So, you know, I did script practice with him. It still didn't work. Okay. So remember, I was a solo agent. I'm going back to reiterating that, guys. I was a solo agent. Street text was not working for me. It wasn't my cup of tea. I don't have patience. I don't have patience to wait here and, you know, get the lead converted. I had to kind of step back and I had to do a self-check, right? I had to make sure that my mindset was in the right mindset of really working with online lead generation. And that's a big thing, right? And I went ahead and I told myself, I had self-talks, a lot of self-talks of what is it that I'm trying to achieve? What are my goals? And when do I want to get there? If I'm going to start doing positive self-talk, I need to have a system in place. But the system came first with my self-awareness, right? My self-check. It was mindset. It was about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to deliver it. That's it. That was that simple.
But how did you change that? Like, how did you decide that you wanted to work these leads? Like, what was kind of the tipping point for you when you were like, okay, I'm actually gonna, you know, I'm gonna call this many leads today?
Right, because the tipping point was when I saw that bill, when I saw money going out and me not doing anything about it. Like, I'm seeing all this money from street text. I signed up for a year's course. I remember telling Marcus, what's the link to Donna's, Donna's classes? And then I went on maybe one chapter and I let it go too. I was like, nah, I paid for it, but I just didn't want to bother working with. So it first had to come from the lazy mindset that I had, the negative mindset. I had to change it. And then when I started seeing these dollar bills going out, I said, okay, I need to do something about this. You know, I'm seeing that I'm spending money, but I'm not seeing a return of investment. So what's the best thing to do? Pick up the phone and start dialing.
So, and the cool thing is you've put a course together, and for everybody on this webinar, we're going to be talking about that a lot today. And also Janki has a special offer for everybody that's live today. So we'll most certainly be covering that shortly. So you make this decision to change the mindset. And I actually think you even cover all of that even in the course as well, right? You talk about your daily routine. Yeah.
I do. I talk about it. And guys, let's rewind back to 17 years ago. I lost my home. I lost everything I had in New Jersey. Because that was 2008, 2009. You have to understand that I'm coming from scarcity. Okay. I lost my house. I lost my 401k. And I told my mom at the age of 36, 37, Mom, Dad, I'm coming home. I've lost everything I had. And my dad sent me a $12,000 check and said, you know what, pay your last bills out and come home. With $1,500, 2 kids, and a puppy and a van, we came cross country to California. Here, I got my license. And at that time, I was struggling to get my license because it's so different. So understand that I didn't get to where I am today just by sitting around. And it wasn't just, it just didn't all flow into my lap. It was in the making of actually being where I am today, working hard, staying focused, having a lot of mindset talks and conversations. And when I met with Marcus, it was a total, I was still in the negative mindset, right? So we had teams, I had a team, it didn't work out because I was giving them all the leads to call. They didn't have a mindset of when I call, when I time block, what am I going to say to them? How am I going to say it? And what is it that the other person wants to hear from me? Is it that, oh, when are you going to buy? Or are you looking? Those are not the right questions to ask, right? You're going to have to learn to build that relationship. And that's something else we talk about in the course as well.
So take us through the type of leads, because I think some people here maybe are familiar with street text, some aren't, and you're used to a certain type of lead. Maybe you work the Zillow model or maybe the Google model, but what was your intro to a Facebook, or social media derived leads, Facebook and Instagram, and the difference for you in terms of when you came across this, you probably started with the whole idea of the seller type of lead.
Yes.
If someone were to buy your home, would you sell it, find its value in the current market? And maybe you stepped into that, like, because with the Donna, you're referring to Donna Swansea, she she's done triple digit transactions with street text. So you obviously got the course and figured out she was using bomb and video, and you weren't really into that at the time.
No.
And you still aren't like a big video person. So you're doing a lot of this with scripts and ISAs. So when you came into street text and you started running the seller ads, and then you started introducing yourself to running some buyer ads, maybe the combo of both, what was that experience like in the beginning? How did you start creating success for you in terms of getting momentum rolling, and what, with all those different layers of type of leads, being that there was a lot of partial, you had to learn that there was an address only lead, there was an address email lead, and even with the phone numbers, how did you start using all the different type of tools and systems at your disposal, and what did you start thinking about using and bringing on? Talk us through that at beginning experience and kind of how you formulated your plan.
Definitely. So basically, when I saw all the street text plans, like all the models that street text has, like Julie, and the emails that go out, I looked at them and I said, okay, I am not seeing anyone writing back to me, right? No one is responding. So I need to do something more than just making the phone calls. I need to create a system. I need to build a system. So I remember just sitting around in the one morning, and I wake up very early. My wake up time is around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and I'm wide awake and I'm on my iPad just typing away. And I said, okay, I'm going to build a system. What are the blocks that I'm getting when I'm talking to these people? What are certain blocks that are coming on? So when I'm picking up the phone and looking at a partial lead, what do I need to do in order to get a full set of leads, right? Like a full lead with email addresses, and phone numbers. How do I create that? So what I did is I went to Stephen's ad tweak class. And I remember that very first ad tweak class that I went to, I said, okay, I'm having a new list. I have a new listing coming on the market. How can I make it to where I project leads through that? And it was a custom class. We went ahead and we focused on that, but that didn't give me as much results either. So I said, all right, went back to his class. So I continued going to his classes, and that helped me a lot to build my ads in the correct way. And I said, okay, what are the main things that a person looks for here in Fremont? And that was a full bedroom and bathroom downstairs. We had another listing coming. So I said, all right, let's focus on that. And that's how we created that 1 bedroom, 1 bath downstairs. And that ad really took off for us. So when we were getting partial leads, I was frustrated, yes. But at that time, we didn't have an ISA introduction. When did we have that ISA introduction of Virtue Desk coming to us with that, with having an assistant, was when we started seeing full leads and we started seeing phone numbers and emails and all of that good stuff, right? And I said, okay, now it's time block. And so I time blocked and I started calling. I was still getting pushbacks. So I said, okay, I need to build scripts around this. So it was all in a building phase, and it took time remember, all the way from April to now, I'm just building, and I continue to build. I didn't like videos. I'm not good at videos, and now I'm getting more comfortable with it, but I never wanted that video introduction at all. I started seeing that there's a need for it after seeing Jennifer's and Wendy's videos. I'm like, wow, these are amazing. So I need to be a part of that. I need to start building videos, and we're doing that next, January. But the whole thing is, I want to connect with people. I want to build that relationship with people. And so that was my big thing and my big aha. People don't want to hear, when are you looking to buy? People don't want to know all that. People want to know that you're there for them. What are you doing? And how are you coming from contribution, right? That was the big aha for me. Like, oh, okay, how about if I set you up on a safe search? Will that be okay with you, Mr. Buyer? And they're like, yeah, sure. I'll connect back with you in about a week's time. How does that sound? Sure, no problem. So that was something I wrote down, and I said, oh, that's a big aha for me. Let me write it down. So every script that just came out, I started writing those scripts down, Marcus.
Awesome. So would you say you're using more of the buyer side of street text than the seller side?
I did. And that was the ad that really got me to where I couldn't control the lead flow. And I said, okay, I need help. because I was working so much in my business versus on my business. And that's something I wanted to also, I will embed in our course as well, is what does it mean by working on our business versus in our business, right? And I was getting so bogged down with working in my business. What does that mean? Meaning I was actually doing the transactional, I was showing properties, I was going on listing appointments, but more than anything, I wasn't just letting it go after the deal was signed. I was still working the back end of it. So how do I let go of that? I needed the leverage piece. I needed help. I needed to hire the right people to be a part of my team to handle that part. So when I go on listing appointments, sign the listing agreement, the transaction coordinator takes over, the client care specialist takes over. I had a vision of what I wanted, and now I just needed to implement it in the right way.
So what do you think? Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, should we dive into the ads?
Maybe let's dive into the ads. But before that, I just want to say that because there's probably a lot of solo agents here as well. And so what would you say to the solo agent? Because a lot of people don't have the luxury at this moment to have an ISA, to have assistants, and they're just trying to figure this out themselves. How would you, does this course apply to them too?
Yes. Yes, it does. I'll tell you why, Marcus. Because you can time block and you can schedule those appointments. Like I used to, when I was a solo agent, between 9 and 12, or between 4 and 6 p.m., all I did was dial my leads out. Once I dialed my leads out, I had a conversation with them. I put it in my CRM. I made notes on my CRM, follow up here. That's how I built my system, right? If I didn't do it, how would I know how to build the system? I was actually digging through the weeds. I actually did the calls, is what I mean. I made the calls. I made the conversation piece happen. And I realized, if I continue to just say to them, are you looking to buy or are you looking to sell? They're just going to be turned off. So I said, okay, what is the right script to actually put out there? So then I changed my script to saying, thank you for reaching out to me. It'll be my pleasure to go ahead and send you a market report of your neighborhood. How does that sound to you? Because they're just curious, remember? They're just curious. So I want to give them something.
So let's do this. Let's go and break this down so that everybody can see it virtually. Let's start with the ad and let's walk the entire audience here through the process itself. So the moment they click on the ad, the actual capture, and then what's happening when, with your automations, and where do you come in? Where is your role? At what point? Is it a speed to lead thing? Are you trying to call them right away? Are you letting Julie start it? Walk us through, and we'll, start with any one of those ads, Steve, and we'll walk through your type of process.
Okay, so the Fremont Homes list, Steve, is the one that has really helped us a lot. So what we did, as soon as the lead comes in on the back end, we go ahead and we've not turned off Julie. We've let that system go on, right? We don't touch anything. We let that system continue.
So real quickly, tell us what this actual ad is. Give us the call to action. Okay. Steve, if you could actually view the ad so we can all see it and maybe even click through it as if we were the lead, in this case, potential buyer or homeowner. So it looks like this is the buyer ad that says, see all available homes in Fremont. Get a list of homes in Fremont sent directly to you. Very general. There's no price point. There's anything. Just all available homes. So that's going to get you a lot of clicks.
There's some pretty powerful ways you can customize these ads too, and we can, if we have time, we can dive into that too. But this one's actually is quite generic. Definitely more open ended.
Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy.
Okay, so click through it, and it's a Facebook lead ad. So it's going to pull in email, full name, and phone number right off the bat, right?
And we did have Stephen do this once, and I remember Stephen, I don't know if you too, he's like, please get me off your list. I already own a home, I'm in Canada, or something like that. And we responded right away too. I don't know if you remember that, Steve.
Okay,
I test a lot of them, and that's it. And then it's thanks, you're all set. And it's
it redirects them to the link, and which is going to go to your website.
There you go.
And they could start their search there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now what's happening in the background?
So now, okay, go ahead. And now that we get the lead that comes in, the first thing that they get, I think they're probably, and again, look, I don't even touch them, but as soon as I get the lead right here, a text message comes to me over here. I go ahead and I pick it up and I text them right away and saying, well, thank you for visiting our website. Someone will be with you our Janki Patel will be with you in about 10 minutes. She'll be giving you a call back or anything, speed to lead matters, right? So we talk about that a lot. If I am not available and I'm in an appointment or anything like that, obviously Julie's in the back doing its thing, and you have, the emails going out. Remember, we've not touched that system. We do not turn it off at all. Where this lead goes, it zaps right into my database. It zaps right into my CRM, is what I mean. It goes into Chime, and from there, it is one of the calls that I make. I look at the lead and I see how the lead is filled up information. Is it a full lead? Is it a lead only? It's a partial lead. Just curious, what is exactly going on? I don't touch it. I don't touch Julie. Like I said, I don't touch the street text system at all. It's right into my system. It goes right into Chime. Once it goes into Chime, we go ahead and send out an email. Automated email goes out. Thank you for visiting our website. Janki will be with you and will be in touch with you. And that's where we take it. And that's exactly the process we follow right there.
Okay, but Janki, that particular ad is going to be different. So I know people are asking right now in the comments, the difference is going to be, that is like a buyer focused ad. You're going to talk to that person a little bit differently. In that case, you're going to be getting a phone number and an email right off the bat. So your cost per lead is going to be the same. It's not going to be separated because it's a Facebook lead form. The seller ad is a little bit different. So whether you're using the ad, if someone were to buy your home, would you sell it, find its value in the current market, or you're going to be using the ad, what's your home really worth, enter your address, receive your home value. And I can see in your dashboard, you have a couple of those. So it's up to you. You can walk us through how you do the buyer side, or you can walk us through how you do the seller side if you're asking similar questions. I know it's going to be different automations going out. One's going to be partial coming at you, as well as, address only, address plus email. Some cases you're going to have address, email, information about their home, time frame for selling. And then of course, if you do get the name and phone number, that activates the Julie side as well. So, walk us through kind of, you can start whatever you want, and then maybe you can kind of apply that to how your course describes that.
Right. So on the buyer side, what we do, let me start with the buyer side. And what I used to do as a solo agent, right? When the lead came in, I went ahead and I just clicked right away, dialed their number. And I said, hey, thank you for visiting my website. And then I dive right into the script. In the meantime, while I'm talking to them, an email has already gone out. When they see that you are actually paying attention to them, some people like it, some people don't. But again, in my script, I also say that I just want to make sure that you got the information that you're looking for. I'm not trying to convert them. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I just want to make sure that you got the information that you're looking for. Even on the sell side, when a seller lead comes in, I want to make sure that you got the information that you're looking for. And I will be on it to get you the market report for your neighborhood. Not about their specific house. I'm talking about the general market report. Remember, first you hit them with the market report, then you say, oh, by the way, are you thinking about, and then you go into that script. Oh, just wanted to know, have you done any renovations? I don't do the first approach as asking them right away, hey, have you done any renovations? Or are you looking to sell? No, I want to go and let you know what the market report is, what your neighborhood is doing. And then I dive, I kind of, it's like a funnel. I go first into the neighborhood, then I go into their specific home. But that, again, is a system. I don't do it right away. I do it 3 days later or 4 days later, whatever the system says.
Okay, so Janki, can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
Now you're sending them just a little market report on the neighborhood.
Yes.
What is that? What are you telling them about the neighborhood?
Okay, so I use Altos reports, Altos Research. They have specific reports like a 94536. I think we do have it here somewhere. It is one of the reports that we have here in the system. And basically it does have a report to where the neighborhood, what is sold in that, it has graphs, it has charts. Remember, from the time I talk to the lead, I will know exactly what disc profile they are. So I'm going all over the place, you guys, but I pick up things just like this when I'm talking to them. And if I have, if they are obviously an S, I will talk to, if they're talking more to me, asking me some questions, then I know exactly that they're an S or any of that sort. Like I look at the disc profile and I'll know what their profile is like. Excuse me. So based on that, I will send them the report. I'll continue the conversation. And I think the report is in one of these chapters, which is an Altos research report. And it is graphs, charts. And when you send an engineer that, obviously you won them over, but they want more. So they
you try to call them first before you send that.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And then with that being said, what if you don't have the phone number? Are you going to send them the Alto report?
Yes, I do send them. That's a good one. So if I don't have the phone number, an automatic response goes out. Oh, I'd love to talk to you, but we didn't get your phone number. We didn't get to connect on the phone, but I wanted to share some information about your neighborhood market report. I wanted to share some information of what's going on in your neighborhood. And then we'll send, here's some information for you. Coming from contribution is a big thing. I realized very quickly as a solo agent. And I said, oh, people are responding. People want more. What can I do now? What's next? And that's how I started to build. Coming from contribution, I kept on giving. And once I kept on giving, I started seeing the response back.
Are you going to be trying, do you, like, if you only have an email or an address, are you using sort of trace system to find them and try to get a phone number? Or are you just are you asking for the phone number? How's that work?
So I am asking for the phone number, and I do say, listen, I'd love to chat with you. I don't have a good number. What is a good number to reach you at? That's it. If I see that they're responding, that's an email that goes out, right? And if I see that, okay, so one of the leads that came in, they said, well, I don't want to sell until end of next year. We're moving to Wisconsin, and we don't want to sell right now. But I just wanted to know, what is going on in my neighborhood. And I said, no problem. Here's a report. By the way, did you know the market is really hot at the moment? And I don't know if the numbers will look the same. What is looking right now, if the numbers will look the same when you're ready to sell. So what is a good number phone number where I can call you and tell you a little bit about the market and what it's doing right now? You see, you got to pique their interest into bringing them right now, this moment, and conversing with them. He said a day later, he sent me his phone number. We chatted on the phone, and we have an appointment to go see their home on Saturday.
So you always email them or message them something in regards to trying to get the phone number, but giving them something in exchange for that. Yes.
So when you give, they're always going to appreciate that. They'll be willing and able. They will be willing to 90% of the time. They'll be willing to give you something in return.
One of the things on these ads that I think is helpful for people to see too, a couple thoughts, is that for everybody that's starting out newer too, you might be spending less or the same or more. Like Janki's got multiple ads that are running, and you'll see on her ads, like some of them are going to be higher and lower, right? Like, so some of the seller ones are a bit more expensive, which is very common for her area, but these aren't actually expensive leads. This is the normal amount for her area. So always keep that in mind too when you're looking at your ads. But these buyer ones, I think this is, Janki, if you were like, how many leads have you converted, would you say? Like, what's the percentage between the seller leads right now and the buyer ones that are bringing a seller?
I'm seeing more of the buyer bringing the seller right now, because a lot of them have condos, townhomes to sell. Some have single family. So I'm seeing at least 60% of our sellers, our buyers that are giving us sellers. So that would be a great conversation to have. Like, sometimes people want to hold on to their investment, and I go back into, okay, tell me, why do you think they want a potential renter would want to rent? Or because the market is so good, why do you think they will want to rent? Don't you think they would want to buy with the low interest rates we got going? And that would be an aha in their mind, saying, oh, I didn't even think about that, because everybody is renting. So I figured I'd build my return of investment. I'd build my real estate portfolio. Then I teach them of how important it is to hold on to those funds and invest when the market goes down. So that's a different topic altogether. And that's how I capture them to sell their condo or townhouse right now.
Because so you would say about 60% of your leads right now are more on the buyer side. So if you're a Street Text client and you haven't run these before, they're really powerful ads. There's quite a few variations. So I definitely recommend coming to that ad tweaks class I posted above, and we can definitely dive into that a little bit more. And then for the seller side, Marcus, I don't know if you want to maybe dive into that a little bit more, because Janki, you have an entirely different process, right? Like you've got a seller process based on what they're providing. If you've got an address only, and then you've got obviously the buyer side as well. And this is just one of the sections of Janki's course that she's got broken out. So she does actually go into quite a bit of detail, including all of the different scripts and emails and even the things that she gives to the ISA side. But I guess the question that I sort of have right now is this process, is this exactly the process that you followed on your own before you had an ISA? And then how did you incorporate them into this so it actually worked? Like, how were you actually able to make it work with them versus trying to just do it yourself?
Okay, so yes, your answer to that question is yes, I did follow the system. And when I was building it, I was following the process and I'm like, oh, this is working. Oh, I got a response from this. So I kept tabs of what's working and what's not. And I started tweaking that. And that's how I said, okay, now I'm working too much in the business. So what do I do next? I need to focus on building the business, right? I need to focus on the business. What does that mean? So I started seeing the leads coming in and I couldn't keep up as a solo agent, right? Like I said earlier. And that's when I started, talking to people about, I already knew the concept of virtual assistants. I started saying, okay, I need to get an ISA, which is an inside sales agent that will make the phone calls for me. And then I started, obviously we interviewed my husband, being a background of software engineering, and he has been a project manager. He knew what the key questions to ask for in an interview. And so he did, he was part of that. And he's now the director of operations on our team, but he is in charge of that. Not a lot of you guys have teams, and I get it, but this was the questions he asked was basically, tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you worked, or are you able to work with a team? And those are some of the questions that he asked were very, very powerful. We did role play when we interviewed the ISA. We wanted to see whether they are spontaneous. What kind of role play are they doing? What are they hesitant right now? Where do I need to teach them? What do I need to teach them? And that's when once I hired them, I said, listen, this is my system and this is what I want you to follow. We actually practice every single day, and we still do. And I still come up with different scripts, and I still send those scripts to them. They tell me at the end of the day what script has been very powerful in conversions. And that's how I started embedding those scripts right here in the course.
Yeah, and role play is a big part of what you do. Maybe this might even be something you want to add to the course. Those questions you asked, the type of role play you did with your ISA, that could be an important section to add in here, because I think for a lot of people, a lot of the agents, if they are looking to hire somebody, I think the two questions probably in their mind is, where should they even go to do that? And I guess maybe how would they even know if they've got somebody that would be a good ISA to sort of bring on, and how do they structure that, right? Like, how do you pay for that? Can you do it like a few hours a week, or do you have to bring them on full time, or can you do it sort of on a contract basis, or how did you structure that?
So basically the structure of that, I use Virtudesk. I can type it up in the chat box, virtudesk.com. And, they have the ISAs, they have the VAs, it is outsourced. And, they charge my card every 2 weeks. And, they're very reasonable, but you got to remember with the ISAs, you just don't dump it on them. You got to make sure that, again, because this is your business, remember, you want to see a return of investment on anything you put out there, right? So first thing I did is I just had them part-time. I had them for 4 hours a day. And then I started seeing the need of it because the leads were coming in quite a bit of leads were coming in. So I said, okay, I need to convert him into full-time and then hire another ISA. That's how we built it. We just didn't hire five different admins right away. It was a step-by-step process.
And then when you were training them, how long did that take? Like, if somebody was to go through your course, would they have everything they need to essentially start to train the ISA and kind of get their first ISA up and running as well?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did maybe walk me through that process. How long did it take for you to sort of train and you could actually hand over some of the responsibility of, say, managing your leads to some, like a VA?
Day one, he had access to all my CRMs. He had access to, my scripts, and he just dived in. So first thing what we did is we role played, and I told him my expectations, what he needs to change. Don't role play like this because they can hear you. Role play with confidence, put a smile on your face, and remember what you think. Your mindset matters, what you say matters, and how you deliver it matters. So for me, that's a big thing, and I still say it every single day. Every day at 11 o'clock sharp California time, they're ready with their affirmations. We talk on WhatsApp. We talk about our affirmations. Good morning. How's everyone doing? What are your affirmations for today? Let's go. How many leads are you going to convert? And we go right into role play on Zoom. So we do a Zoom role play, and they tell me what their challenges were with the leads yesterday. And now that you're going to do a follow-up call in a couple of days, what you should be talking to the leads today and what your follow-up conversation should be, and how does it look, how it looks like, and what to say and how to say it. So 90% of the time, it's how you deliver the message. If you're too strong, they're going to hang up on you. If you are going to have a conversation and try to build that relationship, they will be willing to build it. Sometimes they're high D like Marcus and myself, and they'll be like, I don't have time to talk to you. Not a problem. I just wanted to give you some information about the market. I'll email it to you. How does that sound? That's it. Hang up. Done. Right? And I say that a lot in our masterminds as well. Steve, I talk about that a lot, is don't keep pushing for the business. Let the business come to you. And the way to do it is talking to them numerous times and delivering something of value to them.
Thanks, Janki. And I have so many people right now messaging me privately and just sort of what the course is and how do we get access. So what we'll do maybe is we'll just talk a little bit about that. So if you are interested, you can learn about that now. So I'll send the link right here in the chat. So here's the link. And so what Janki's basically put together is, we'll go through the sections maybe. And I think we have a special offer for everybody that's on the call today too. So Troy, if you can share that, if you are going to buy the course, make sure you use this. It's only for today only. There is a special offer on the course. So I think Troy can communicate that just more in the chat, and then I'll jump in on that in a minute. But Janki, why don't we just move through this a little bit together? So the course that you put together, again, just to kind of reiterate, even if you're a solo agent, all the systems are here. So everything that Janki does, she's broken down. She's put a PDF or a script of every single step that she has throughout the entire process. That being said, she started as a solo agent and she got to a team. So if this is something that you're looking to model, and what I love about the Street Text, all of the different agents is you have some agents that are just solo agents. Like we have like Donna Swansea that many of you have learned about. She doesn't have a team. She does it all herself. But for some of you, this might be the route that you really want to go. Like you think to yourself, I would love to be able to add some leverage into my business. And I'd love to learn how to build a bit more the ISA side. And where do I even start? And I would say Janki's course is the perfect place. So she's going to cover everything that's regarding the mindset, which we talked about earlier, her entire routine. I don't know, Janki, if you want to talk about each one of these sections sort of as I go through.
Yeah, really quickly, let me just tell you guys, mindset, like I always say, is a very big thing of mine. No matter how I wake up, I always write in my gratitude journal. I get up, I do my, once I'm in the shower and I get out and I say my affirmations. I'm a lean, mean listing machine. I will be signing 2 listing agreements today. I really dig into self-talk, right? And I come out with a positive attitude. Not all days are good, you guys. I am also human, right? Not all days are peachy and happy-go-lucky, right? There are days when I'm down and I'm like, oh God, another day. But then I look at my big why right at the back there. I choke when I talk about my big why because without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that is a big thing, you guys. Keep your big why at your core because I don't want to go, my other big why is I don't want to go broke the way I was when I lost everything 18, 17 years, 10, 12 years ago, 2008 and 2009. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be there. So my big why propels me every single day. And that keeps me going. That shakes me off my negative mindset. So what you say to yourself matters. How you say it matters because guess what? That's the same way you're going to deliver it to someone else. Your big why matters, guys. So that is my morning routine every single day. What inspires me? My dad right here, I lost him in 2019 and lost him right here in my arms. And he always told me, you're a tiger, you can fight, you can make it. Don't ever let anyone let you down. When you get pushed down, keep going. He was a boxer. Marcus, you can relate, right? It's all about, self-talk, and it's all about, no matter how much you get knocked down, pick yourself up, keep going. No matter how many times you get a no, this is exactly what I tell my ISAs. I tell them every time you go get a no, remember that's closer to a yes. That's what my coach always told me. Every time you get a no, every time someone hangs up on you on that phone call, remember you're getting closer and closer to a yes. Simple as that. I keep that in the back of my mind. That's how I wake up every single morning and I keep it going.
I love it. Yeah, I love this also because, I look at your ads from time to time and I laugh because so many people focus on the split test and the A/B test over and over again, trying to tap into the lowest cost per lead ever. Yet they lose sight of it. It's all about the follow-up. It's all about creating the systems and the processes and the mindset and going after it. And so it's awesome, because when I see like an $18 lead per email in Fremont, I just laugh to myself when I see so many people so hyper focused on getting the next lowest cost lead, yet you're not converting those leads.
Right.
So what's the point of you generating so many leads if you can't create conversations and create this experience with them? So, I mean, how would you go about, like, telling people who are in that position right now, how do you make the most of your course and at the same time leverage street tech, our classes, our workshops, our own coaches to make this work?
I think, and that's a very powerful question and very much needed for our group here, because if you're not going to do this, please don't waste your money, is how I say it. If you don't waste your money with street text, don't waste your money with, with our course here. I think if you are very dedicated to getting somewhere in your business, I think that's the first conversation you should have with yourself. Don't focus on $9, $10, because think about the return of investment you will get once you convert, right? I just started doing $20 a day, right? Not because it's needed, but I just wanted to see the performance. When you focus on the ad tweaks as much, you will see that you're focused on just that. You're not focused on what you're getting. Perfect what you're getting, right? All the leads that you're getting, what are you doing about those leads? You keep saying they're bogus leads. I say, no, they're not. What are you doing? What is your process? What is your follow-up process? What is your system? How are you talking to them? Are you coming from contribution and building that relationship? That's a question I'm going to ask everybody right here. If you continue to focus on the $9 and the $20 and $10 and $2, you're not going to build that income that you're looking to build.
Janki, if I could ask you a question on your buyer ad, then, like you had established with us that on your seller ad, you do a neighborhood report. And so for your buyer ad, when they're asking for a list of homes, what is it that you're first sending out to them?
The list of homes, it goes out automatically. I believe it's just the homes that are available in the market today. So they go back and it goes right back onto my website. They get a chance to come back to my website. I don't send them a particular list. It's just telling them that, hey, you want a list of homes? We will send that over to you. Here's my website. They go automatically into our website. They pick some homes and they favorite some homes. And that's how we see that's the list that automatically goes out to them. And that is another way of us to call them, right? Everything, there's no particular way to work because all leads are different, right? So a lead will come in, a lead will favorite properties, some lead will come in and go out right away. So people that are favoriting, those are the favoriting properties on our website. We go right back to them and start calling them, because we know that they're looking at the homes and they're favoriting properties. So now that's a green light for us to go ahead and pick up the phone and call them.
And I also like that you often call leads right after you send something, just to see if they got it as well.
They got it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do.
So just breaking down some of your systems.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you're breaking down your systems, like the measurement of that communication is the most important. I don't know, you were using Sync, I believe.
Yes.
And you use some of so you cut off the email drip from street text and just go right to Sync, or are you letting them both go out?
So it's Chime, actually, Marcus. And
sorry.
I let both, no worries. And I'm like, what's Sync? So I let both of them go out. I don't stop anything from going out unless they tell me, please stop calling or texting me. That's when we get them out of a drip campaign or whatever it might be, right? Then we just unsubscribe them because they don't want to be bothered. We put them on a 12-month drip campaign. So the email doesn't go out now. It goes out after 6 or 12 months, right? But we still keep them on. Or some cases we unsubscribe them. What we do also, Marcus, is that once, and we keep both, like I said, we keep both of them running, and we just kind of evaluate in the back end. And now it's become to where we evaluate every single day. I have an admin that just does evaluation, seeing who's coming back, who do we need to call. And so she groups out the leads that need attention first. And those are the leads that will be called right away, first thing in the morning. Not all the time are the new leads called out because they're not raising their hand. They're just curious, or they just came in and they went out of the website. That's it, you know? So we don't necessarily bug them. We just put them on a smart plan and we send something out to them. It all, again, I'm saying the same thing over and over because it's so important to make sure that you're coming from contributions, sending them something, and just building that relationship. And we have examples of everything that we do send out.
So you break down the address onlys, you break down the address emails,
Yes.
you break down it all, how you're using Julie, what your systems are doing,
Yes.
what your ISA is doing, you know.
Yes.
So potentially if I'm just a solo agent and I'm brand new in the business, brand new, right? I don't have more than I don't even have a deal yet. Is this course worth it for me?
Absolutely. I have somebody that's right here from New Jersey, one of my very close friends. She's got deals that happen, but she's having a challenge, and this would be perfect for her. She's a solo agent, and this would be perfect for her, right? So, address only. If she has an address only, what does she do? What kind of letter does she send out? Now, remember, these letters can also be embedded in your smart plans or your drip campaigns. You don't necessarily have to send something out physically. You can also create it if you have a CRM as such, and upload it in your CRM and create a drip campaign. So remember, this is all work that has been done over the past few months, but it's right here for you, and given you, the examples are all right here.
And what I love too is, we see somebody like Jennifer Salter who kind of fits my personality, and she's, we call her a Facebook stalker like myself, where a lot of people are using Facebook Messenger and friend requests and bomb video relentlessly until they get that relationship, and you really don't touch much on that. So it's refreshing to see that there's an alternative to have success outside the realms of Facebook and Facebook Messenger and bomb video or Dub or so forth. So I'm really excited for people to see this and apply what they've had in terms of success with bomb and that model, with Facebook Messenger, with using Facebook somewhat as a CRM. I'm excited for what you're going to do by using video more this year.
I really, really am. And I'm seeing the messages go by. I think somebody said, where's the proof in that? Proof in what I have been doing. I wish I could share with you my EXP backend, but that's my income. I really don't want to share my income with anyone, but I just want you guys to know that if you have that kind of a mindset, then there's no need to look at my results. See it for yourself. Buy the course, apply it, yourself, and see what the results you get. So like I said, listen, you don't have to believe it. It's totally up to you guys. This is what I've designed. This is what I've built. I didn't have to, but here I am. I'm doing it because, again, I'm coming from contribution because I know a lot of you guys are having challenges, and I'm here to help. I'm here to, really help you guys and help you build your careers or your businesses through street text. It's a great platform. I don't get
Can I add something in here. I just, as a person who's using it, where I see the value of something like this is because I've been member for 3 months and I am just overwhelmed with all the leads. I try to do my own systems. I try calling them and I just think, okay, there needs to be a system in place. There has to be a follow-up plan if we want to make this happen, because we know the leads are coming in.
Yeah.
So I truly appreciate that you have put the time and system. And it's just like, if you have a good model, you do not need to create one, duplicate the model.
Exactly.
Go for it. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up because I'm going to save time just by doing this. And I'll use the videos as well. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you to say that because, I've built the system through hard work, and I know that, I'm showing you everything that has worked for me. And if it works for you, good and well. If it doesn't, talk to me. I will be able to see how I can help you guys further. If there's a script challenge, let's get into talking about that. Let's see where I can help you, right? Like I said, I really just want to help you guys. That's all.
Hey, Steve, click on a couple of those, like even because it looks like it's just these small little sections, but even if you click on systems, for example, what do my systems look like on that course? I think you can see like it goes deep. I don't know where you are in the actual.
Yeah, that's right. Some of the sections are deeper than others, obviously, depending on what it is, right? Like, so some of them are broken up differently. I just think I think that was just said so well, which is basically, like Janki's put the course together. Like some people don't even like to, buy things and they say, oh, I don't want to buy something. This is a roadmap. This is a shortcut. If her course, again, it's not going to be for everybody. It's for somebody that I think if you want to do really well with street techs or want to build your team, I think this is the course for you. And if you do one more deal as a result of this, I mean, the course is paid for so many times over. And so, I wouldn't really, I just think it's interesting that sometimes people worry so much more about like the results of this one. Like Janki's going to put all of this work together for you, and it's all done. So I'll dive into more of the sections, but just before I do, maybe let's just talk even about this disc profile. What is this disc part of the course for you as well?
So the disc profile basically is, obviously it's getting to know what your client is, what the client's personality is like, right? When you talk to them, and I've said that in so many masterminds, when I talk, and I've also, one of the masterminds where we talked about like, okay, Marcus is a D and Ira is this, and Troy is this. So I kind of evaluated them, not even knowing them as well. So how did I do that? It's because of practice. And then it comes down to, what do I want to share with them that they will be like, oh, she already delivered that to me before I even asked. I gave them something they wanted to hear before they even asked, because I know what they were going to ask. And how do I know that? I'm not a psychic. The way I know that is by their disc profile, you guys. I ask the questions. Sometimes the buyers call me and say, hey, I want to live here. Now, I don't know what kind of profile they have. So I said, okay, tell me, what do you do for a living? Just so I can understand where you work. When they tell me where they work, how far they want to be from community. Again, it's a conversation I have with them, and they tell me, oh, I'm a system, I'm a system engineer, a software engineer. My wife is a project manager. The wife likes foo-foo-fa-fa, she likes all the emotional of it. The husband is more like practical and more like wants to see data of the home and what the area has done in the past 6 years, so to speak. Will he get a return of investment? So we have to break it down as profiles, basically, and get to evaluate and get to know what the client is really looking for, and then provide it to them.
And then we talked a little bit already about the role playing. Janki's got a couple things in here that I thought were really good. Is both obviously the breakdown of the role playing, but also I believe you've got some live role playing examples right in here as well, where you're actually going through that as well. So what I'll do, Marcus, as you mentioned, I'll just jump through some of the sections of the course here. So this is just on the back end, like obviously on our side as we're basically putting it together. So it's going to look a little different for you, but as you're basically going through it, if there's going to be systems or videos, there's an introduction, there's everything and why she uses it and how she uses it. All the scripts are basically laid out section by section. And the other thing is, if anything's missing, I mean, we're just launching this course today. So if anything's missing, I mean, it's all here, but if you see something and you're like, oh, I'm looking for this or I can't find it, just let us know. And we'll make sure that we can update or get that in there for you. But here's just here's a great section that's fully broken out, what she does with an address, full contact, all of the scripts are there. So if you're looking for something, what does the hello note card look like? And if I click that example, see if I can open it here for you. In that case, I'm going to get it. So there's the example, right? So every possible part of this by day is actually here. And a lot of this, if you wanted to, you could even build into the street tech system. If you needed to, you could add that in. And we'll talk more about some of those kind of interesting things that we could even maybe potentially build in the future as well. But for now, yeah, I mean, maybe we just open up to a few more Q&A questions. Or Marcus, if you've got any other questions.
No, I mean, I'm excited. I'm really excited because Janki, you're somebody who, I didn't expect, like with your type of follow-up, the way you do things, that you'd have this level of success, because I was so convinced for so long that, the way to converting a lot of Facebook leads was video. I was like, there's no way that these leads are just going to start talking to you. There's no way. They don't know you. There's no body language. There's no tonality, but and yet you've kind of taken that and ripped that apart, and it's refreshing for me, because I know there's a lot of people that think they need the video to be successful, and you've done amazing, incredible without it. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. I definitely do want to embed video, but I don't want to change what's working for me right now, because again, picking up the phone and just talking to them, it's your tonality, it's your energy.
It's a lot easier.
It's what you say to them matters.
Yes.
So that is important.
We have someone that needs to mute themselves.
Anyway.
That's awesome. Yes, I would say you guys, if you're going to be using street text or anything like this, the top of funnel is a long game. I mean, help people understand, you know, because I'm getting some direct messages, and I know there's some people that have been struggling. I know some people are trying to make, you know, this ROI in the 90-day plan or the 180 plan. Like, where did you start seeing success, and what could you, like, for someone who hasn't had the success, how vital is to have something like this to really start using and building the systems? Because I often find, you know, someone starts a trial with us, they generate a bunch of leads, and then and now it's like, okay, I sign up, where do I even begin? And I always tell them it's all about reverse engineering the process. It's all about creating the systems, you know, the integrations, thinking about, like, what is that experience going to be in week 1? What's that experience going to be in week 2? And then going forward, where did you start seeing the biggest fruit of this? And how could you know, what would you say to someone who has been struggling, that maybe has been with us for 6 months and doesn't have a deal yet? What would you tell them to do?
What are you doing is my question to them. Where are you seeing the lack, right? That's my first question to them. What I started doing, I started in March, I believe, and April, May, and June, I was just not feeling it. I had the negative mindset. That's when, I think June, it hit, when I saw the charges happening. I said, okay, I need to either do something about this or quit this, right? And why would I quit if I'm seeing the leads coming in? Doesn't make sense. And that's, you know, between those 3 months, you and I talked a lot. And that's when I decided, after the 3 months, I said, okay, I need to take action. Let's pick up the call-in. Remember, I did not like cold calling, or it's not cold calling. I did not like calling people. I did not like being on the phone. It's not who I am, but I know I had to do it because, again, I'm seeing the money go out and I'm not seeing the return of investment coming in. So once I started picking up the phone and started just having a conversation with them, not asking them anything about their needs, their wants, nothing of that sort, I started building that reputation, and I saw that it was working. And all I did was started writing it down. What's working with this lead? What did this lead say to me? When are they looking? When is the follow-up I need to do? I wrote it all down. I wrote down what I said to them, because for me, it's important, once I say something, if I don't write it down, it's not embedded right here. So I write it down, and that's when I knew that, okay, this is what's working. The next call. So I did 10 calls a day, 15 calls a day, and almost 90% of the time they did not answer. In my ISAs got the same pushback right now. 90% of the time they don't answer, but you know, the full leads are answering. They are talking to us. We are seeing the back end, what they're doing, and that's what also helps us.
Any questions? I get to you. Are you open for a quick Q&A?
Sure.
Right, this is the time. I know there's 133 left of you on here, so
if somebody wants to unmute, yeah, go ahead. You can ask a question.
Okay, quick question. So what is the cost of this training, and when does it start?
So I can answer that if you like. So it just launched today. So here's the link here, and I think it's just below as well. The cost is normally $299 for the course, but for everybody on the webinar today, it's just 50% off. And Troy set it up, so it does actually expire today. It's just a coupon. And keep in mind too, like when Janki builds a course, she's taken all the time to do it. So there has to be a fee for it. But again, it's a shortcut. It's a roadmap.
Okay, I have a quick question. So if I had a lead, I will admit I have not followed up on a bunch of my leads because I got real busy with life, okay? The current COVID and all this garbage that's going on in the world. So I don't want to bring that negativity into this. It's my own fault. I didn't follow up with these people. Now, and I had stopped my ads a few weeks ago because I was just like, forget it. I can't even deal right now. So my question to you is, and I had 2 other listings that I was working that were not from Street Text, so I was busy. My question to you is, do you follow up on those old leads, or do you just let them die and start a new campaign?
Absolutely follow up with them. No need to let it go.
Even if they've written you like a nasty email. There was one guy who wrote me a nasty email and basically said, I failed because I didn't send him what he wanted.
Okay, apologize and say, all right, I apologize.
I'm like, do I even want to work with this person? He's like already calling me a failure.
And again, that is definitely on you, how you want to do it. But me, I would take it up as a challenge and say, well, I completely apologize. Life got in the way. As you know, this year has been horrible for everyone. I completely apologize again. How can I help you? What can I do for you? I would go on an angle of apologizing, admitting that I'm wrong, admitting that I made a mistake. Life got in the way, and then just moving on from there and saying, is there anything else you need from me? Or,
so like, let's say I sent him nothing other than all those stupid automations. Excuse me, they're not stupid, but if you don't follow up on them, they are kind of stupid, because then the person is like, what the hell? She's sending me all these automations and she's not sending me the home profile that I want.
Yeah. So I would basically really try to call him, pick up the phone and call him and say, listen, I apologize for not being in touch. Life got in the way, but enough of me. Tell me, what is it that I could have helped you with? Where did I fail? Because I want to improve myself every single day.
Got it.
And then send him a gift card, send him an apology gift card to Starbucks or something, or, just send him something, a card, a note card saying, I apologize,
Okay.
Coming from contribution always works.
Redemption.
Marcus. Okay.
Yes. And I know that, I don't know if this is the right time to say, but we do have our coaching as well that possibly will be coming up, group coaching after this.
Yeah, if you're looking for more of like a one-on-one or like group with Janki, we'll talk more about it in the days to come.
Yeah.
I think start with the course, really go dive deep into that course. Absolutely. And out of it naturally. Is there a comment section within that course?
I guess Troy can speak to that. I just want to say, Mariana, I appreciate you saying that, because we've all been there. And even like on a street text team, you have no idea how many times we've apologized to our clients for things that we've dropped the ball, like just missed, and it just because life got in the way, we didn't even mean to. So I really appreciate that question.
Absolutely. Good question.
Hey, Janki.
Yes.
Question regarding your ISAs. You said they're working like 4 hours a day. How many times are they calling the leads? Because, a lot of times we call them, they don't answer. We text them, they don't answer. So are they kind of continually calling till they can try to get them on the phone?
Yes, they do. So right now, we've got 2 full-time ISAs, and we had to change them from 4 hours a day. We hired 2 more at 8 hours a day. So if they don't get a hold of someone, they actually put it in the back end to call them by the end of the day. So they follow up. They don't just say, well, this lead is not answering. If the lead is not answering, they find different times of the day to call them. And they're sent out a text message, or they're sent out some sort of a touch to make sure, saying, one of my client care coordinators saying, she basically says, hey, I'm so sorry, we're not able to get a hold of you. Hope you are okay and doing well. We would love to talk to you. When is a good time for us to connect with you? Okay,
so are they actually logging into your CRM and then putting notes in? I called them at 10:05. Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay. So the primary duty of your ISAs is really just to call and set an appointment. Is that mainly it?
Yes.
And
nothing else. So 2 of my ISAs, all they do is dial. They set the note, they write the notes, they follow up. That their job is to set appointments for me, phone appointments for me. All their job. My client care coordinator does a follow-up before the phone appointment, so if I have a phone appointment at 12 o'clock, my client care coordinator texts them saying, hey, want to make sure that you know that you are on a phone, or you have a phone appointment with Janki at 12 o'clock. Just wanted to send you a friendly reminder. She's eagerly waiting to talk to you. That's it. And then
are you setting that up with your Calendly link too, so they see when you're available and when you're not?
They set it up with my Google link, Google Calendar.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and it works great.
That seems kind of advantageous, because I think that's a problem that probably a lot of us have when we call a lead and they don't answer. A lot of times we might call them once or twice, but then a lot of times new ones come in, we call the new ones. And then there's a lot of times we don't we just don't follow up on these old ones. And that's where I do kind of see the benefit of an ISA or whatnot.
And there's so many times that we've, one of my ISAs has called and they said, oh, we already bought, you're too late. And that is just like, oh my God, that was a lead. That was a real lead, we could have done, but then we just have to move on, right? But knowing, and this goes back on street text and the leads, the kind of leads we have. When the client says you're a little bit too late, we just closed on a deal, that is a reaffirmation of what kind of leads that we're getting from street text. And they're not bogus leads. Simple as that.
I was going to just say, hey, Troy, if you're on here, do you know where you enter the coupon code exactly? I know lots of people were just sort of seeing where they enter that. Hopefully that's clear.
It should be on the payment page. So you'll be able to make you first have to create a Thinkific account, and then it'll take you through, and then it'll say add coupon. So
awesome.
Nice and easy.
And if somebody is here, obviously a lot of clients are going to be here too, but if you've never tried street text, we do have a 7-day trial. So maybe I'll post that link here
and
as well.
Also, you guys, if you guys are looking for, I can help you guys with this. If you're looking for an ISA, if you're looking for, I can connect you to, the manager that I have, the coaches that I have at that particular, like Virtue Desk. I can connect you to them. I have no problem. Just let me know. And they'll know exactly what to do for you. If you're looking for, I don't know, whatever my systems are, I'm willing to help you guys connect with the right people to talk to, if that helps. So
very common.
Yeah.
Yankee, that's amazing. How much do you pay roughly for those ISAs?
How much do we pay? I think, Ren, what was the last bill? Do you know?
Hourly, do you know, like roughly, sort of like more just
hourly. Okay.
I looked it up. It's like $10, $10 to $11 an hour is what I just looked it up.
Yeah, I pay $9. I pay $9 an hour, I believe. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? It's been a
So,
solid.
Janki, how many calls are they making? I mean, are they? Are you having two ISAs? One in the morning, one in the afternoon?
Yes, I have 2 ISAs. Let me look it up really quickly. I believe they make anywhere from 200 to 350 calls a day.
So they're making a lot of calls. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
How many leads do you have coming in? Are they mostly?
Yeah, 253 calls. This was yesterday. One of the ISAs made 253 calls.
But you're doing a lot of ad spend on Facebook as well. So you have a lot of leads coming in, right?
I think we have 4 ads, right, Steve? I believe we have 4 ads. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My ISAs are saying that's not enough. So we have to bump it up to 1 more ad. So going to Steve's ad tweaks class next week.
Awesome. So I just want to say a big thank you, obviously, Janki, for putting this course together. Really, really appreciate it.
One quick question.
Sure. Go ahead.
What's the coupon code for this? Because I'm on the page and it's just saying it's $2.99 and that's it.
Troy will post it again here just in the chat. And I believe you input it when you get to the payment section. So you'll see $2.99. You create an account and then it gets to the payment section and there's a coupon code spot. And if anybody accidentally buys it right now at the wrong price, we'll just go in and fix it right afterwards.
Okay.
So don't panic if that did happen.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Janki, I get very little phone numbers. My question is, in your course, does it cover if you don't get many phone numbers? Because I know you're great on the phone.
Thank you. Yeah, I think those are address only, I believe. We do have a system where if we don't get phone numbers and they will only get emails, I think there is a process there as well for those. And if we don't have something, I can certainly help you out. No problem.
And here's the thing too, Karen, come to the ad performance class with Steve too, because we'll show you what Janki's doing with the buyer ad campaign that it's called a Facebook lead form, and it'll capture that phone number up front. And she's actually getting a lot of her sellers from that buyer ad. So you're going to want to understand the top of the funnel is really all about, you're getting to that person first. And many buyers actually have to sell first. And that's why we call, a lot of our funnels the buyer to seller funnel. So in this case, that $3 per phone number she's getting, and she's spending $20, that's, you know, she's basically getting 7 phone numbers a day. So from that particular ad. And then, you know, out of that, you call, you ask the question, and a lot of them are sellers, and that's why she's getting so much success from that. So you do run the seller ad as well, but be open to doing something different, not just the typical seller ad.
Yes, I totally agree. We had to make that. We had to do that, and that's how we came up with the buyer ad. Do something.
I love it too. It's so generic, you know, get all your list of homes in Fremont. I'm like, well, that's got to be a pretty overwhelming home list.
Right. And look, I'm not doing anything fancy. I really am not, guys. It's simple. Just create and I don't like going back over and over again to tweak something that's working, because I know it's working. Why mess around with it, right? So especially with my ads, I mean, Steve built this ad for me, gosh, a long time ago. As you can see, it was built, I think, in May or April. I don't even remember when, and we just leave it alone because we know it's generating the leads for us.
Yeah, that one's working well. I mean, some ads come and go and start and stop, but you've been to many of those classes. I've seen you in many of them. So
yes.
That class is open for our street text clients. If you don't know about it, we'll put that Calendly link in again, but make sure you definitely attend those classes as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Janki, additional question, please. Yeah, regarding on the leads for the ISA, you're calling 200 plus leads. Are those coming from street text only leads?
Most of our leads, 90% of our leads are street text. Yes, we do have another source as well. And we do have leads that come from that, but that is another ISA that calls that other lead.
Are you doing also circle prospecting?
Yes, we're doing circle prospecting. We do just listed, just sold, coming soon. We do all of that, but we have divided our ISAs. Basically, one ISA takes care of this part of the business. One ISA takes care of the street text business. So they know exactly what to do and what to say and what's next in the street text system, what's next in the other systems, what's next in the circle prospecting system. So
great. Thank you, Janki.
You're welcome.
Janki, how big is your team, and are your team members calling also, or just the ISAs?
Just the ISAs. So everyone has their own part to do. My buyer's agents their jobs is to go out and show properties and get them pending. Our transaction coordinator and client care coordinator takes care of it after they go pending or before a listing comes on the market. They do all of that. We've got our ISAs that take care of the first, they're the front lines, getting the appointment set for me. I go ahead and run the team, as well as all the appointments that are set for me. My job is to convert them and then assign them to the buyer's agents. So everyone has their own part in the team. Of course, my husband is the director of operations. He says, sit, we sit. He says, get up, we get up. And that's it. Yeah, that's our team.
And do you have listing agents, or are you the only listing agent?
I am the only listing agent. We are going to implement our listing agent team starting probably in January, because we definitely see a need of that too now.
And let me emphasize
on that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Like one of the things, I'm gonna circle back to where you got to say start at square one. Street text is where it starts. That's the engine that drives everything you're doing.
Yes. Hello, Leon. Yes.
And see, when Janki sat there and said before, she said she walked away from it because, everybody gets frustrated and stuff like that. Everybody has a different approach. But when they say circle the wagons back, go back to street text. And even I'm guilty of not following up all the time, because it's not like you sit here and you're available to pick up the phone every time it rings. Everybody's dropped the call, we dropped the bomb. You own it, you apologize, you move on. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. Don't take it personal. This is a business. And this is where Janki, when she changed the mindset back to this is a business and started running it that way, the results got better. But what I was going to say is start with street text. If you don't have an assistant, you are one. That's fine, be one. But if you feel you're overwhelmed, don't think you can't refer a lead out to someone else. What you want to do is make the system work for you to start making money to operate better in the system. If you go through street text and you start doing the follow-ups, don't try to handle everything. When you don't delegate and you mismanage, you're losing money, and the frustration makes you lose even more money. So start out in the system. If you can't handle it, refer it out. Let that check show up months later. Reinvest in yourself. Start working with Julie. If you got a CRM in your company, set it up. I use Julie's name on all my other stuff. But once you start working the system so that it's operating even semi-efficiently to get a return on what you're doing, then you can branch out. So when you turn around and look at something, even in Janki's course, if it says, this is what ISA does, what assistant does, the good thing about that is it's delegating the duties for that position and what they do, because a lot of people don't understand what that particular role and responsibility is. So if it says you're the ISA in this role, then be the ISA, but do what the ISA is supposed to do. Follow those steps for what they're supposed to do in those roles, make the things happen. And then as you grow and branch out, like me, I pay $800 a month. I've got ISA, they give me 20 hours a week. They set the appointments initially. I call, I confirm them. I give referrals out to other agents. You are as big as or as little as you want to be on the internet. So for me, I say Premier House's team. And I'll say one of the team members call you. I am a solo agent. I do have an assistant.
There you go.
But I have the team concept to where people think I'm bigger than I am. And I mean, I do own part interest in my company, but I still operate as a solo agent. So when you turn around and start changing it, you know, and I like what you say about this, Janki, the mind shift is important, because until you make the mind shift to what you're going to commit to and then start defining those individual roles, you might be one person filling 5 roles. That's okay. You just need to understand the role you're doing, because if you don't fill that role the way it's supposed to be, you continue to get the same results if you do things the same way.
Exactly. Well said, Leon, because I totally believe exactly what you said. What you focus on expands. What you think right here is what you're going to get out here and how you're going to deliver it. That is it, you guys. But the whole thing is, even if you're a solo agent, you can use the course. You can use my course to actually do everything as, you know, as a solo agent. Delegate yourself to do those tasks. Time block, right? If this time doesn't work because everyone is at work, well, then change the time. You're going to have to manipulate and play around with it.
Leon, I really, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, Stephen. Hi, Janki, it's Jody. Thank you for this opportunity. It's great, by the way. I just had one question. In your course, how many systems do we have to purchase beyond just the course and street text? Like, you have mail outs and you have cards and stuff. Like, so what other systems, third party, I'd say, do you pay for to help, I guess, send out some notifications and emails and letters?
So the only thing I have that is different is my admin team, right? My ISAs. So remember, everything that you can do mail out of, you can actually send out an email of. You can send out an email letter, but just beautify it, make it look nicer, send out clips of it. You don't have to send out the entire letter. Just put bullet points and send out an email version of it. You can send out a postcard. You don't have to necessarily mail out a postcard physically, right? You can actually even send out an email. So with our postcards, we use a local company here, and they're doing great for us in regards to, you know, just sending the postcards to them and getting that done. So really, and then in-house mailing. All our letters that we send out, we do in-house right here. I do it. My husband does it. My son does it. We all get together and do it together. We don't necessarily, so we hand seal them. We do it together.
Perfect. Thank you.
Fun project.
And continue to steal from the group. All you gotta do, if you spend a little time in the insider group, there's so much stuff. I seen the QR postcard I posted the other week. I seen the upgraded version the other day. I'm gonna steal it back. You know, when you have a group that shares knowledge that's shared freely is priceless.
A mastermind on Wednesdays and that insider group. Those are the 2 most important places to be on the weekly.
And Altos Research has done wonders for my seller leads, you guys, because people want data, people want stats, people want to know if it's the right time to sell their home. And Altos, we just automatically send out that report, that market report.
Hey, let me emphasize too, Curtis, and you can, right after I say this, don't change you don't have to change what's working for you.
Yeah.
Just implement what you love. Like, take a little bit of what you love and bring it into your business. Like, no one's telling you right now to go purchase Janki's course and do exactly what Janki does.
No.
It's like you got to look at it, view it, see what you like, leave the rest behind, right? Because you're going to be doing some things that you really are really good at and you actually enjoy doing. Don't take away from doing that. If you're like using the bombs videos and Facebook Messenger, all that stuff, if that's working for you, keep doing that. Just implement Janki stuff as well, and it's going to exponentially build upon that. So just want to let you know, like, no one ever said this is the way. and the only way. There's going to be multiple ways, and we're going to have another course come out in the future as well with someone else other than Janki. So it's just, you take a little bit of pieces and bring it back and make it better for yourself.
Absolutely. I totally agree with Marcus. And another thing also is we're going to implement videos. There's so much more we're doing, to implement in our business next year. In fact, we do have a business planning meeting with our coach. Our entire team has a business planning meeting in about 10 minutes. So just thought I'd let you know, Marcus and team. That's Street Tech.
Curtis, go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Janki. I actually signed up for your course because I've been looking forward to this. So I already have a VA. I've worked with her for a couple months. I'm about to hire an ISA specifically. Do you have them, are they calling all day long, or do you kind of have them like call in the morning and call in the afternoon, then do kind of like lead cleanup and that kind of stuff in between, or how do you have them work?
I have them from 11 to 7, California, PST. So I have them Pacific Standard Time. I have them from 11 o'clock to 7 p.m. So they cover as part of the evening, afternoon, and morning time, right? And what they do is they actually create the system themselves. They actually talk amongst themselves now, and they report to me, okay, we're going to follow up this to this hour. We're going to do this to this hour, at this time to this time. This is what we're going to do. And I can change it anytime I want to change anything. I can do that with them, but I let them take the lead on it because I want them to be in a leading position, right? I want them to know that they're part of this team as much as I am the leader of the team.
Okay. Do you have kind of like a basic outline in your course of their structure of their day?
ISA structure of the day for the ISA? No, I don't think we we didn't dive into it actually. Did we try? I don't think so, right?
I think it would be amazing to add. I think so many questions are around that. Like anything that we can include in sort of the ISA structure or like that process for you, I think people would find very valuable. And so any updates, like if you do have the course, any updates like that within the course, they'll just appear in the course. So you don't have to rebuy it or anything like that.
Yeah, and yeah, we don't have like a daily breakdown for the ISA, but we can work on putting that. And guys, this course is for you. Like we really, we put this together. We want to make it as good as we possibly can so that you get value in there. So feedback will be phenomenally, grateful. I know that it's just providing structure around what Janki is doing and helping to lift that lid a little bit, because sometimes things get lost in the insider group and our masterminds and it's hard to piece it together. So we kind of want to piece it together for you.
Yeah. And again, like Troy said, so many, like Steve said, and Marcus said, that it's not about the team that I have. It's about taking it and diving, like Leon said, work as a team, but be a solo agent. You can do that. Take pieces of what's working for you and what's not working for you and build it. Time block is what I say. Mindset, time block, affirmations. Do it with a smile. Make your calls with a smile. It works. Simple as that.
All right. So I think we've answered a lot of questions. I know some of you may have some more, but we can keep the conversation going in the insider group. I know Janki has a meeting coming up. So just want to first off, again, just say a huge thank you to Janki. Thanks so much for putting this course together and sharing all this great content. I mean, even if people aren't interested in the course today, I mean, this content has been phenomenal. So thank you so much. And then also just thank you to everybody else that's here. I mean, all of you have busy lives. You got busy days, like you said, life, lots going on. And so for all of you that committed this time and stuck through this this hour and 24 minutes, I just want to say a big thank you to you as well. And thanks, Troy, to making this course happen as well. Lots of hours spent in the background putting that together. So.
Exactly. And if it wasn't for Street Text, I wouldn't be here doing the number of deals that I'm doing. So a big shout out to my coach, Marcus. Thank you so much for everything you do. You're amazing. You keep us going. Troy, thank you so much for really being patient with me. And of course, Stephen, always helping me with the ad tweaks. You guys, this team, this company rocks. I am not part of Street Text in the sense I'm not their employee. Please know that. I'm just speaking as an agent that has done successfully well with Street Text. So thank you so much, you guys.